the entire tennis world is holding its breath. This is not just a match, it's a coronation waiting to happen or a heartbreak in the making. Imagine the roar of center court, the pressure of a grand slam, the weight of an entire nation's dreams. Alex Eala is standing on the precipice of greatness, and standing in her way is a stone-cold veteran ready to crush her dreams. This is the moment that defines careers, where legends are born and pretenders are sent home. Prepare yourselves. This is the story of Alex Eala's biggest test yet. The draw for Wimbledon is a merciless beast, and for Alex Eala, it has breathed fire down her neck. In a scenario that feels scripted for high drama, the young Filipina star has been pitted against the Mexican powerhouse, Renata Zarazúa. On paper, it's a classic David versus Goliath narrative. But this isn't a fairy tale. This is the brutal, unforgiving arena of professional tennis. Zarazúa isn't just any opponent. She's the kind of player that turns rookie dreams into nightmares. Alex Eala arrives at the All-England club riding the highest wave of her career. Her recent performances have sent seismic shockwaves through the tennis establishment, with experts and pundits scrambling to put a ceiling on her potential. She's no longer just a promising junior. She is a legitimate threat on the WTA Tour, a player whose name is being whispered alongside the sport's future greats. Her style, a blend of graceful athleticism and ferocious power, is tailor-made for the grass courts of Wimbledon. The low bounce and fast pace seem to amplify her natural talents, making her a terrifying prospect for any opponent. But Renata Zarazúa is no ordinary opponent. She is a seasoned campaigner, a warrior who has battled through the trenches of the professional circuit. While Eala represents the shiny, hopeful future, Zarazúa embodies the gritty, unforgiving present. She has a game built on relentless consistency, heavy ground strokes, and a mental fortitude that has been forged in the fires of countless three-set battles. She won't be intimidated by the hype or the roar of the crowd. In fact, she's likely to feed off it, using the energy to fuel her own game plan. This sets up a fascinating tactical battle. Zarazúa will attempt to drag Eala into long, punishing rallies, testing her physical endurance and mental resilience. She'll look to expose any chinks in the young player's armor, using her experience to manipulate the points and frustrate the teenager. Eala, on the other hand, will look to dictate play from the first ball. She'll try to use her explosive power to hit through Zarazúa, to end points quickly and decisively, refusing to get bogged down in a war of attrition. This match isn't just a first-round contest, it's a psychological minefield. For Eala, a win is a statement to the entire tour. It's an announcement that she's here to stay, ready to challenge the best in the world. A loss, while disappointing, is a lesson, a brutal but necessary step in the education of a future champion. For Zarazúa, it's an opportunity to remind the world that she's not a stepping stone for the next generation. She's a gatekeeper, and she has no intention of opening the door. This is where dreams are made or shattered, and the anticipation is palpable. To truly understand the magnitude of the challenge awaiting Alex Eala, we must cast a harsh light on her opponent. Renata Zarazúa is not a name that generates headlines or fills stadiums. But within the inner circles of the WTA, she is a player feared for her resilience and work ethic. She is the quintessential tour veteran, a player who has seen it all and beaten most of it. She is the kind of rival that can take the wind out of a young player's sails, not with flamboyant shot-making, but with sheer, unadulterated grit. Zarazúa's game is the antithesis of the flashy, highlight reel tennis that audiences adore. It is built on a solid, unshakable foundation. She possesses a powerful topspin-heavy forehand that can pin opponents deep behind the baseline. Her backhand is a reliable shield, capable of absorbing pace and redirecting it with precision. She might not have the blistering pace of a Serena Williams or the wizardry of an Ons Jabeur, but she has something arguably more effective, a rigorous, no-nonsense consistency. She doesn't beat herself. She makes you beat her, and she forces you to play your absolute best to do so. This approach makes her a lethal weapon on a court like Wimbledon. The grass can often reward aggressive net-rushing tennis, but it also punishes overeagerness. A player like Zarazúa, who thrives on patience and wait for the right moment to strike, can be incredibly difficult to dislodge. She will absorb Eala's power, keep the ball deep, and force the young player to go for riskier and riskier shots. When the stakes are high, pressure mounts, and the margin for error shrinks. Zarazúa is in her element. Furthermore, she brings an abundance of experience that Eala simply cannot match. Zarazúa has been in these pressure cooker situations before. She's played on big courts, faced top-tier competition, and knows the mental and physical toll of a 5-set Grand Slam match. Though women play best of 3, the pressure is immense. This experience is invaluable. While Eala is fighting to find her footing on the biggest stage, Zarazúa will be looking to impose her will, using the crowd's energy and the occasion itself to unsettle her younger opponent. Renata Zarazúa is more than just a first-round opponent. She is the final boss in a video game, the gatekeeper at the entrance to the castle. She represents the final hurdle that a player must clear to be taken seriously. For Alex Eala, this is the ultimate test of her readiness. She isn't just playing a player. She is playing against experience, consistency, and the unyielding will of a veteran who refuses to be replaced. This is a battle of generations, and it promises to be a brutal, compelling spectacle. In tennis, history has a peculiar way of repeating itself, providing the perfect blueprint for the next generation's success. Look no further than Bianca Andreescu's meteoric rise in 2019. The young Canadian, then just 19, stormed through the draw at the US Open, defeating the legendary Serena Williams in the final to capture her first Grand Slam title. She didn't just win. She announced her arrival with a thunderous, undeniable statement. For Alex Eala, this match against Zarazúa at Wimbledon is her own personal Andreescu moment. It's the precise catalyst required to launch her into the global consciousness. Eala possesses all the raw materials for such a transformation. Her powerful, aggressive baseline game is perfectly suited for a Wimbledon run. She has the firepower to hit winners from anywhere on the court, and the athleticism to track down seemingly impossible shots. But what truly sets her apart is her it factor, that intangible blend of confidence, composure, and sheer determination that separates the good players from the great ones. Watching her play, you see a player who believes she belongs on the biggest stages, and that self-belief is the most powerful weapon in her arsenal. Just like Andreescu, Eala has the ability to rise to the occasion. The larger the stage, the brighter she shines. A packed center court, the weight of a nation's hopes on her shoulders, and a tough veteran opponent staring her down. These are the very conditions that could forge a legend. It's in these high-stakes moments that true champions are born. Eala's recent performances have shown she possesses the mental fortitude to handle the pressure, to step up and deliver when it matters most. A victory over Zarazúa would be more than just a first-round win. It would be a paradigm shift. It would be a declaration to the entire tennis world that a new star has arrived and that the Philippines has a legitimate contender for the sport's biggest prizes. It would generate a tidal wave of momentum, boosting her confidence to stratospheric levels and terrifying every other player in her half of the draw. The tennis world is desperately seeking new heroes to fill the void left by the legends of the past. Alex Eala, with her captivating style and inspiring story, has the potential to be that hero. This match at Wimbledon isn't just her chance to win, it's her chance to truly go viral and become a global sensation. This isn't just about hype, it's about the concrete on-court dynamics that make this the perfect storm for an Alex Eala breakthrough. While the narrative of veteran versus prodigy is compelling, the actual tactical battle heavily favors the young Filipina, offering a clear path to victory. Let's dissect why Eala, despite facing a seasoned opponent, has all the tools to not just win, but to dominate. First and foremost is the surface, Wimbledon grass. This is not the slow, grinding clay of Roland Garros or the high-bouncing hard courts of the Australian Open. Grass rewards aggressive first-strike tennis. It favors big serves, powerful ground strokes, and the ability to take the ball early on the rise. This is precisely where Eala's game excels. Her explosive power and flat trajectory are nightmarish for opponents on a slick grass court. She can hit through the court, taking time away from her opponent and forcing errors. Zarazúa, who often relies on consistent looping ground strokes, may find her weapons blunted on this surface. The heavy spin she uses to dictate rallies on slower courts becomes less effective on grass, giving Eala a distinct advantage. Furthermore, Eala has a massive advantage in terms of momentum and belief. She arrives at Wimbledon on a hot streak, having won significant matches and ascended the rankings. Her confidence is sky high. She's playing with a freedom and a fearless abandon that is incredibly difficult to combat. Zarazúa, on the other hand, is the one with everything to lose. A first-round upset loss to a teenager would be a massive blow to her ego and her ranking. This psychological burden weighs heavily on the veteran. She knows she has to play her absolute best to win, while Eala can play with the freedom of having nothing to lose. Finally, the X factor is the crowd. While Wimbledon is famous for its poise and tradition, the crowd, especially on the outer courts, can be a powerful force. They love an underdog story, and they will inevitably rally behind the charismatic young player. The energy, the noise, the palpable support, it can lift a player to unimaginable heights and create an atmosphere of intimidation for the opponent. Eala, who feeds off this energy, will be buoyed by the support. Zarazúa, who is more accustomed to the grind of the tour's smaller, quieter courts, might find the atmosphere unnerving. The tactical, psychological, and atmospheric conditions are all aligning to create the perfect launch pad for Alex Eala's biggest moment. As Alex Eala steps onto the pristine green of center court to face Renata Zarazúa, she is not just starting a tennis match, she is crossing a threshold. This is a career-defining moment, a reckoning that will shape the trajectory of her professional life for years to come. Everything she has worked for, every early morning practice, every sacrifice, every droplet of sweat has led to this singular moment. The pressure is immense, but the prize is immeasurable. A victory here propels Eala into a new stratosphere. She becomes a household name in the Philippines and gains global recognition. The Alamania that has been simmering would boil over, transforming her from a promising prospect into a bona fide star. The prize money, the ranking points, and the boosted confidence would open doors and provide a massive psychological boost for the rest of the season. She would no longer be the hunter. She would become the hunted, a player other rising stars look to emulate. She would be a step closer to her ultimate goal, winning a Grand Slam and becoming the world's best. Conversely, a loss, while painful, isn't necessarily a disaster. It provides a brutal, honest appraisal of the gap she needs to bridge to compete at the elite level. It highlights the areas of her game that need refinement, perhaps her second serve, her net play, or her mental resilience under extreme pressure. Every great champion has suffered heartbreaking defeats that served as fuel for their future success. For a 19-year-old, this would be a valuable, albeit harsh, lesson. The defeat would serve as a painful reminder that the climb to the top is long and arduous, but the fire it would ignite could be even more powerful than a victory. Ultimately, this match is a win-win scenario for the Filipino prodigy. A win is a glorious triumph. A loss is a powerful lesson. But regardless of the outcome, one thing is certain: the world will be watching. Alex Eala is about to show the world what she's made of. She has the talent, the drive, and the heart. The question is whether she can harness it all in this defining moment. Will this be the day we witness the coronation of a new tennis queen? There's only one way to find out. The stage is set. The world is watching. The future of tennis is about to be written. If you enjoyed this shocking sports update and want to stay ahead of the biggest stories in the world, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to World Zone right now. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the action. See you in the next video.